It's an ordinary day in Hong Kong when a massive tsunami suddenly strikes, flooding the city within minutes. Streets are submerged, buildings are filled with water, and chaos erupts as people frantically search for safety. The water rises too quickly, and only those who manage to get to higher floors survive. In just a few hours, most of Hong Kong's population is gone. 5 years later, Asha is still haunted by the events of that day, her nightmares filled with the terror she felt. But every morning, she pushes through her fear to keep surviving. She lives in the remains of a tall building and uses the surrounding trash to hide her belongings from potential threats. Over the years, she's created secret hiding spots, like a hole under the couch cushions, to keep her valuables safe. Each morning, Asha heads to the roof to access her secret water stash, which she keeps carefully hidden. After drinking some tea, she listens to the radio but skips the pre-recorded message about a government shelter, choosing music instead. She's always cautious, using headphones to avoid attracting attention. Next, she collects morning dew with a towel and adds it to her carefully measured stash of water bottles. She hasn't seen rain in a while, and the dwindling supply worries her. After finishing her chores, Asha eats instant noodles and reminisces about the delicious meals she used to enjoy at restaurants with friends. Then she grabs her binoculars and scans the area. The tops of submerged buildings stick out from the water, and she keeps an eye on the few remaining neighbors. Occasionally, she sees buildings collapsing into the water. While watching, Asha notices a box floating on the water. She rushes to a different window where she set up a makeshift harpoon-like tool for scavenging. With a quick shot, she hooks the box, but as she tries to reel it in, something in the water pulls back with surprising force. The struggle makes her hit the edge of the window, injuring her arm. Despite the pain, Asha keeps pulling until the creature lets go, sending her backward with the release. She finally pulls the box inside, but not before the creature retaliates by sending a wave splashing against her. The box mostly contains trash, but she does find a bottle of alcohol. On her way back to the roof, she pauses briefly in front of a closed door at the end of the hallway, visibly upset before moving on. Once on the roof, she uses the alcohol to clean her wound, bandages it up, and takes a swig to dull the pain. That evening, Asha hears screaming outside. When she looks out, she sees 2 boats of violent scavengers attacking her neighbors. Asha spots a man on the rooftop across from her building, staring directly at her. She quickly hides for a moment, then cautiously peeks again. The boats seem to be heading toward her building, so she rushes downstairs. She hides all her daily supplies, covers her mattress, and scatters dirt around the hallway to make the place look uninhabited. Then, she slips behind a fake wall in a closet and stays completely silent as the scavengers enter her room to search for food. They even check the closet, but thankfully, they don't find her. A sudden gunshot makes Asha jump. It turns out one of the scavengers fired because he thought he saw movement, but it was just a mistake. Once they leave, Asha breaks down in relief and tries to calm herself by remembering a happy moment. Before the disaster, she had just met her half-sister and had taken her out for a meal to start getting to know each other. The next day, Asha finds another floating box. Among the usual junk, she's thrilled to discover a jar of honey. Her joy is cut short when she notices a body floating in the water. Later, while she's busy, someone sneaks into her apartment and starts taking items from her hidden stashes. Asha hears faint noises but doesn't see anything, so she brushes it off. When she's about to go to bed, she hears another sound and goes to investigate with her flashlight, but once again, she finds nothing. Determined to catch the intruder, she leaves the soap out as bait. Finally, she discovers the culprit, a young girl. Asha grabs the child by the shoulder to confront her, but the girl kicks her and runs away, taking a few more items, including Asha's makeshift lamp. The girl heads down the corridor and almost opens the mysterious door at the end, but she hears Asha approaching and quickly flees. That night, Asha dreams of shopping for her sister's birthday, remembering how she had told her best friend she couldn't wait to move out of her parents' house. When she wakes up, she notices some of her food stash is missing. Following a trail of empty wrappers, she finds the girl asleep with the lamp. Asha doesn't wake her, and instead goes to the kitchen to cook. When the girl finally wakes, she continues searching for hidden compartments. Inside a fake electrical outlet, she finds an envelope with pictures of Asha and her sister. Asha catches her in the act, and the girl bolts. In her rush to put the photos back, Asha doesn't realize she's dropped one. Later, Asha prepares a second bowl of noodles and brings it to the girl, reflecting on her sister's birthday dinner. That night, her parents had gifted the family necklace to her sister, which upset Asha because, as the oldest, she believed it should have gone to her. The argument made her leave the party. Now, in the present, Asha is wearing that very necklace. She leaves the food next to the girl and walks away. The child eventually eats it all and notices Asha has also left her a mattress to sleep on. Hei doesn't use the mattress right away, but the next morning, she returns everything she stole from Asha. For lunch, Asha makes 2 portions of noodles again, leaving one for Hei before heading to the roof to eat. To her surprise, Hei soon joins her and mimics everything she does, making them laugh and start bonding. This moment brings back some of the joy Asha remembers from her old life. That night, Hei finally takes the other mattress and sleeps next to Asha. When Hei begins crying and tries to hide it, Asha reassures her that it's okay to be scared and cry. Hei confesses she misses her family, but believes she'll see her mom again soon because she's building a boat to find her. She also shares her name for the first time. After another night of nightmares, Asha brings Hei with her to the roof to teach her the morning routine. While playing with the door, Hei removes the tape Asha had put on the lock, and the door accidentally closes, trapping them outside. Asha gets upset, but Hei shows her she knows how to pick locks and opens it back up, surprising Asha. Later, while Asha prepares another meal, she realizes her necklace is missing. Before she can think more about it, she hears noises and sees the scavengers have returned. She quickly tells Hei to stay quiet and wait until they leave. Afterward, while helping Hei clean up, Hei asks Asha to leave with her, but Asha refuses, saying this is her home and there's nothing worthwhile outside. When Asha asks if Hei took her necklace, Hei denies it and runs off to another apartment, offended by the accusation. That evening, Asha eats dinner alone and notices some water is missing. She investigates and discovers Hei used it for washing. This triggers another memory of Asha hearing news about a typhoon hitting nearby countries and fighting with her mother, who wanted her to settle down, get married, and be a proper wife. That night, Asha's nightmares get worse. She keeps seeing bodies in the water and wakes up in a panic, briefly mistaking Hei for her sister. Later, Asha teaches Hei how to handle the building's electricity, but Hei gets distracted and asks about the door at the end of the corridor. Asha brushes it off, telling her the room smells horrible, and opening it would make the whole place stink. Asha remembers another argument with her family from the past. After watching news about Singapore's destruction from the floods, her mother turned off the TV and brought up the next family meeting. Asha refused to go and lashed out, saying her family made her feel like a prisoner before storming out of the apartment. Back in the present, Hei fiddles with the radio and hears the message about the shelter. Excited, she rushes to Asha to ask her to go there with her. Asha refuses Hei's request, explaining how dangerous it is to leave. This leads to an argument, and Hei calls Asha bitter and angry before storming off. Asha follows her to another room and discovers Hei has been building a raft out of trash and even has a flare gun. Asha immediately takes it away from her and makes a confession. She once tried to leave too, but things were so bad outside that she had to come back. After they reconcile, Asha remembers the day her sister followed her out of their apartment after the fight with their parents. Her sister begged her not to leave, but Asha explained it was time to move out, promising they'd still hang out often. The next morning, it finally starts raining. Asha and Hei rush to the roof to collect as much water as they can, storing it properly. While they're working, Hei notices that Asha's necklace had simply fallen and wasn't stolen after all. Later, Asha finds the picture Hei accidentally dropped earlier, triggering an emotional flood of memories. Hei comforts her, reminding Asha they have each other now. That night, Asha is surprised to find her necklace under her pillow. It had fallen because its clasp is broken. Feeling guilty for accusing Hei, Asha spends the next morning working tirelessly until she manages to build a raft. Hei is thrilled, and Asha remembers more about the night of the tsunami. Her sister had been trying to tell her she left the necklace in Asha's jacket, but before she could finish, people in the streets began running in terror as a massive tsunami hit within seconds. In the present, Asha decides to give Hei her necklace as a gift. Sometime later, they gather supplies to prepare the raft for their journey. While working, Hei listens to the radio, but the headphones accidentally unplug, causing music to blare through the room. Asha quickly shuts it off, but it's too late. They hear the voices of scavengers approaching outside. Panicking, the duo scrambles to hide all their personal items. Asha pushes Hei into the hole behind the fake closet wall, but there isn't enough space for both of them. Asha decides to hide in the stinky room instead. The scavengers break in through the window just as Asha locks herself in the stinky room. Inside, she finds her old family photos, realizing that this was her family's old apartment. Meanwhile, the scavengers conduct a much more destructive search this time, tearing apart everything they can find, including the raft. A scavenger enters the stinky room and gags at the awful smell, but he keeps going. He removes some old sheets and is horrified to discover the bodies of Asha's parents, which makes him vomit. At the same time, Asha also throws up while remembering the night of the tsunami. The wave had destroyed everything in its path, killing dozens of people people within seconds. People panicked and started pushing each other to survive, so Asha dragged her sister into a building to take the stairs, but soon the crowd began following them. Back in the present, the scavengers are stealing all the food and looking through Asha's pictures. One of them notices something strange about the closet, so the group moves the fake wall and finds Hey Hey, capturing her. Asha hears this from her hiding spot in the stinky room and has another flashback. As they were going up the stairs that night, her sister tripped and fell behind, getting trampled by the panicked crowd. Asha was in such a rush to escape that she didn't realize her sister was missing until she reached the roof. In the present, Asha hears Hey Hey nervously reveal where she's hiding. The scavengers quickly find her and knock her out. When Asha wakes up, she's tied up, and one of the scavengers tries to take advantage of her. Before he can do anything, the leader calls him away. Moments later, Hey Hey and the supplies are taken to the scavenger's boat. As Asha is dragged out, seeing Hey Hey reminds her of her sister, and she realizes she can't repeat the same mistake. Determined, Asha pulls at the rope tying her hands, but one of the scavengers yanks her back, making her fall into the water. Nearby, she spots a broken CD and grabs it, using it to attack him. Enraged, the scavenger tries to drown her. After struggling, Asha manages to reach the flare gun hidden in her pocket and fires it, killing him. Hearing the commotion, the other scavengers rush back into the building but don't spot Asha. They split up to search for her. One of them hears Asha crying and follows the sound, but it's part of her trap. She uses some rope to trip him and then beats him to death with a guitar. Afterward, she takes his knife and hides in another room. Asha turns on the radio to lure another scavenger, who follows the noise. When he gets close, Asha jumps on him from behind and stabs him with the knife. The scavenger fights back, throwing her onto a mattress and trying to choke her. Desperate, Asha grabs the knife again and stabs him repeatedly until he finally dies. Meanwhile, the female scavenger hears a noise and discovers a can with fire burning inside. Asha surprises the female scavenger by throwing oil on her and pushing her into another room. She sets the woman on fire and blocks the door, letting her burn slowly. The leader hears the screams and heads in that direction, but as he takes the stairs, Asha jumps on him and stabs him. They get into a brutal fight where the leader lands a few hits on Asha and tries to choke her. Asha struggles and manages to grab the light tube, breaking it and plunging the area into darkness. Using the broken tube, she beats the leader to death. When Asha turns on her flashlight, the boy scavenger appears and starts shooting at her. Asha quickly runs to the roof with him chasing after her. As soon as he steps outside, Asha slams the door shut and traps him on the roof after removing the tape from the lock. The boy begins begging for help with an innocent tone, and Asha hesitates, considering letting him go. But then he starts shooting at the door, so Asha decides to leave him there. Down by the boat, only one scavenger remains, watching over Hey Hey. Asha spots him through the window and uses her harpoon-like device to try and take him down, but she misses, and the harpoon falls into the water. When the scavenger hears the noise and goes to investigate, Hey Hey seizes the moment to push him off the boat. However, the man grabs Hey Hey, pulling her into the water with him. Desperate, Asha jumps in to save her. The scavenger resurfaces nearby, but before he can attack again, the sea creature suddenly appears and devours him. After a few tense seconds, Asha and Hey Hey resurface, safe and unharmed. They swim back to the boat and climb aboard. With all the supplies the scavengers had stolen, they finally set off, hopeful about their chances of reaching the shelter. That night, for the first time in a long while, Asha sleeps peacefully without any nightmares. Don't forget to subscribe. Here's some more interesting story you don't want to miss.